Let me say something that's going to piss both sides off. AI companies are not stealing your art, and artists are not irrational Luddites screaming into the void. What is happening is that we built the wrong legal battlefield, and because of that, everyone is fighting the wrong enemy.
And the Walt Disney Company and OpenAI have agreed to a 3-year deal allowing users to create short social media videos using Disney characters. The deal will grant users of the AI short-form video generator Sora access to copyrighted characters from Star Wars, Marvel, and other properties. Disney's also investing $1 billion in OpenAI and becoming a major customer. ABC News' Elizabeth Schulze is here with more details on that deal. Hi, Elizabeth. What do we know so far?
Hey, Diane, this is really a major deal between Disney, which is the parent company of ABC News, and the artificial intelligence giant OpenAI. It means that people using OpenAI's short-form video app, Sora, will be able to create those videos on social media with more than 200 Disney characters. So that includes characters from Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar.
Okay, that's what we really need to see. But Disney made a move on the whole AI artist debate. They made a move to invest into OpenAI and to be able to gain in the future from the success of AI. They also, in doing so, licensed the use of 200 of their characters. So essentially, they traded stakes in OpenAI for the use of their characters. This gave me an idea, because right now, the debate between artists and AI companies are going at each other from the wrong direction, and no one is making progress. Now, big companies like Disney will eventually make progress and ink deals, but we need a standard that can be applied to all artists, no matter how small and no matter their representation. Right now, artists are being told your work is inside the model, your style is being stolen, you should get paid for training. And AI developers are being told you're pirates, you're thieves, you're committing mass copyright infringement. Both of these stories are emotionally satisfying, and both of them are structurally wrong. Now, I'm going to propose a solution to the entire debate between artists and AI companies, and explain why this is not only the most rewarding path that can be taken for artists and AI companies, but it's also the easiest, requiring no new law. We can use all law that we have existing to enforce it, and use the existing standards and bodies and rights holders that we have today. It very much uncomplicates the process and means that we are more likely to see earnings, real earnings, to artists more quickly. Now, the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say out loud is that training a model on art is not exploitation. It's transformative analysis. It doesn't store your paintings, it doesn't replay your images, and it doesn't contain your files. It learns statistical relationships. That's it. If training data required licensing, then Google search, academic research, and every data-driven technology on Earth would become illegal overnight. So no, training is not a crime. But here's the part the AI side keeps dodging. Letting models impersonate living artists' styles is economic harm. It does substitute for real labor, and it does destroy the commercial value of creative identity. So the real crime isn't learning, it's impersonation. And if we look at the entire discussion from that lens, things start to fall into place. So here's the line that we should have drawn from the beginning. Models can learn from anything. Models can generate anything. But models cannot impersonate any living artist's distinctive style unless that artist licenses it. Not based on what the user types, based on what the output actually looks like. If the result converges on a recognizable living artist's style, that's a regulated expressive act, not a fair use training event. So, what I'm describing here is a type of style firewall. And no, this isn't theoretical. This is easy to implement. You build a style likeness firewall. The model constantly compares its outputs against protected style signatures, and if similarity crosses a defined threshold, one of three things happens. One, if the artist is licensed, the generation then proceeds and royalties are logged. Or two, the artist is unlicensed. The output is blocked or stylistically degraded. Or three, the artist is public domain. In that case, it would just go through freely. It doesn't matter how the prompt is phrased. You cannot jailbreak this system because the model literally cannot access high fidelity versions of unlicensed styles. Circumvention becomes impossible. So it's easily enforced. This also gets rid of perhaps the most illogical argument in the entire debate, which is that art is inside the weights of the AI models. It isn't. That's just false. And even if it were, it wouldn't matter legally because harm doesn't come from learning. Harm comes from the expressive substitution. So the only thing that should ever trigger a legal action is this. Did the model output something substantially similar to a protected living artist's style without a license? If not, there is no case. Now, the problem here is that there is a power differential, right? Between an individual artist or even artists represented by rights holders and AI companies, which are often billion-dollar companies. To bridge that power dynamic, you need to have something that levels the playing field. I propose a free tool, and this is where it stops being, corporate bullshit and actually protects artists. Every artist gets a free tool. They upload their portfolio, the system generates their personal style token, and they can test any suspicious image for similarity. If the similarity score crosses a defined threshold, this creates a rebuttable presumption of infringement. Basically means that it's assumed that it's stolen art, but it is arguable by the AI company in arbitration and then court if they did want to argue against the finding. The thing that a threshold gives us is a nice cutoff point where liability starts and ends. And since it is simple to implement this style firewall based on existing AI technology techniques, then it's very easy to program in a threshold at which the model will simply not comply or degrade away from. So it's easy for the AI companies to implement method into their models so that they won't breach the law or their agreements. And it's easy for artists to test the outputs of models to see if the AI companies are in fact holding up their agreements. But then, here's the kicker. No one gets to run straight to court. Mandatory arbitration comes first. The platform has to disclose logs, disclose similarity metrics, offer payback royalties, offer future licensing terms, and only if that fails do you get to sue. That protects artists and kills nuisance lawsuits. That is not uncommon to other creative industries and even other industries outside the creative field. Arbitration is a common way industries like construction use it. It keeps courts free of disputes that could otherwise be resolved outside them. Now, the money. This is the real issue money. In order to make sure this is fair and not exploitable or avoidable in any way by platforms and artists, then we need to have a rock solid set of bare minimums to protect artists' earnings and to ensure standardization across the vast methods of AI that will license creative work. So I propose a compensation constitution. Every generative AI platform above a defined scale must do three things. One, pool at least 50% of total net revenue and distribute it to artists based on actual usage of their licensed styles. Two, allocate a minimum of 10% non dilutable equity into an artist trust. Real equity with dividend rights, liquidity rights, and governance rights, not PR tokens. 3, platforms can choose a trade off, either 10% equity and 50% revenue share, or 25% equity and 30% revenue share. That gives startups flexibility and it forces monopolies into public utility level fairness. Now, this might seem too good to be true, too generous, but it's actually based on existing models from other industries. See, Spotify pays out around 70% of its revenue to artists, and YouTube pays out about 55%. Now, Apple pays its developers 70%. So 50% is not really radical, it's conservative. And that's reflective of the fact that the styles may be useful for training and for generation of that particular artist style, but there will be use cases outside of the artist style as well. So 50% on the conservative side, reflective of their contribution. And if your AI business can't survive while giving creators half the value they generate, then your business model isn't innovation, it's extraction. This single framework does 5 things at once. It protects fair use training, it prevents style theft, it pays artists real money, it diffuses lawsuits, and it makes AI legally survivable. Artists stop demanding training bans. AI companies stop fighting endless litigation. Regulators stop panicking. And creators become co-owners of the infrastructure they helped make valuable. This is how we must deal with how AI will affect our industries. We must redirect the profits that it makes to the workers who built and sustain that AI, or is even sustained by that AI. So here's the blunt reality. If you're an artist who wants all training banned, you're not protecting creativity. You're entrenching big tech monopolies. You're basically saying that you want OpenAI, Google, Meta, X, AI to be the only ones capable of using this technology, and it will be owned by billionaires. And if you're an AI company that refuses to license styles, you're not innovating. You're free riding on human identity. Both sides are wrong. And both sides are losing because of it. We don't need fantasy attribution. We don't need training taxes. And we don't need censorship. But most of all, we don't need ideological wars. Not right now. We've got too many of them. We need one clean rule. Learn from anything, generate anything, but never impersonate a living artist without paying them. If you're an artist, demand this. If you're an AI developer, build this. And if you're a regulator, legislate this. This is the system that actually ends the AI artist war. Not vibes, not lawsuits, not moral panic. Policy. And if you think this is too generous to artists, ask yourself why you're more comfortable with chaos than with sharing the upside. Because that answer will tell you everything.